Hi, welcome to my channel. I am so excited to be getting started with this. I will be talking today about homeschooling and the decision making process. And I wanted to start a little bit. I'll tell you, I have 4 kids. I have Khaleesi, who will be 7 in July, Kira, who is 5, Lincoln, who is just about a month away from being 4, and then a 1-year-old next month. Oh my goodness. So we made the decision pretty early on when Khaleesi and Kira were just, I think, over 1 and 2, and it was pretty easy for us. And I'm not saying that it's easy for everybody. It's kind of a hard choice if you're really unsure. But for us, it was kind of just in the moment thing where we were talking. I think there had been a lot of things in the news about school shootings and bomb threats. And I'm not just talking about like in high school, in colleges, but like younger kids. And I think it just kind of freaked me out. And I was like, oh my gosh, I looked at my little babies and I was like, I do not want that learning environment for them. I don't want them to fear going to a place where they are learning. So it was just something we didn't want, and I was really surprised because I had no background with homeschooling, so I kind of was just like, oh, we should homeschool. And my husband, who had been homeschooled for a little bit, was like, yeah, we should. Sorry, I had to shut my air filter off. It was being really loud in the back. Okay, anyways, so yeah, he said, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, okay, well, we'll do it. And obviously it was really early on. The girls weren't like even in preschool or anything, but I had already been home with the girls. So it was kind of just like an easier transition for me to, just start doing little things here and there. Just like letters and numbers and singing songs. And that's where we made how we made our choice. And I want to tell you guys, the decision to be homeschoolers is a constant decision. It's a decision that you make every day when you wake up and you decide that you're going to buy curriculum or plan curriculum or whatever you're going to do. It's a decision you make every single day. Through the struggles, through the good moments, all of it. So I kind of wanted to talk to you about where to start, because it's a lot of information. It's overwhelming, or it can be overwhelming. I'm sure for some they kind of just like have it in their mind. They know what they're doing, and that's totally fine. But as I know, as a mom, our mom guilt can kick in, and a lot of people have something to say about making the choice to homeschool. A lot of people don't understand it. I was one of those people. I did not understand it. So I think that it's really the best place to start is do the research. Okay? Take the time to read books, blogs, listen. There are podcasts out there, YouTube videos, whatever you need to do the research, and figure out what kind of homeschooler you think that is going to fit for you. And I say do the research, but I also need you to be open and flexible, because what you have in your head is potentially not what's going to work out. For example, I thought that I was going to be like this structured, we're going to do this subject on this day at this time, and it's going to work out perfectly. And it did not work out perfectly. And I really, really had to get myself into a frame of mind that it's not about me just pushing information onto the kids. It's about me building up their willingness to learn and to teach them the value of education and knowledge. So it really, be open-minded. So you may be that very classical style homeschooler where you think that you're going to get the curriculum and that's what you're going to do and you're going to just go by that and that's fine, or you think that you're going to be an unschooler and it's just going to be child-led and all that, and you'll soon figure out what works for you and your children. What's up, Khaleesi? You want an orange? You just gotta peel the end, I guess.
I can't.
You can. Oh, you have no nails. All right, here you go. You doing yoga?
Yeah.
You're eating oranges and doing yoga?
Yep.
Okay, so now I don't know where it was, but I'll pick up where I think I left off. So that was the how and kind of what style of homeschooling. So seriously take the time to read about each style. And then also the very beginning, you need to go through whatever your state requirements are. And they are all different. So you have to go through the school board. So I just reached out to the school board and said, hey, what do I need to do? And they sent me a packet, and I had to send them in a letter of intent. This was our first official year of, registering them with the school for homeschooling. And just seriously educate yourself. Reach out to your local communities of homeschoolers. There are lots of resources out there to help you along the way, figuring out, legalities and where to get books or how to get books if you're going to do it that way. What you can and cannot do, and what you're required to do, because sometimes they require you to tell them what curriculum you're using, or they don't. I know in my state didn't. They also require you to keep a log, which I'm going to tell you, I do not keep an hourly log because we school all year round, and that would be ridiculous. we would calculate an insane amount of hours because we learn through doing things. We learn through life. So definitely just look into the requirements, what your school department requires for you to do and your state requires you to do. Okay, so the next biggest thing I want to talk to you about, and this is so important, guys. I want you to really think about what our responsibility is as far as raising our children and educating our children. And I know for me, our sole responsibility is to make sure that these children are good people, that they understand the whole concept of being good and doing good, and start from there. Okay? Teach them the value of being a good person. And then really ask yourself and, your significant other, if you have a partner that you're doing this with, you guys really kind of need to be on, I wouldn't say be on the same page, because there are things that I would prefer to teach them and things that my husband would prefer to teach them, and we kind of just mesh them. But really ask yourself what you want to teach them. And I'm not just talking academically, because academically they're going to tell you that you need to do math, history, English, writing, etc. But really, what do you value for their life and education? And I'm going to give you a quick example. For me, and I already mentioned this, I want them to be a good person. It's really important that they understand how they contribute to the world that we live in. And that it's not only our responsibility, but also an honor to contribute well to this world. And then I also, we really, really want them to be self-reliant. Self-reliance is heavily implicated here. We want them to think for themselves. We want them to be able to do for themselves. We want them to understand that everything that we do is a choice. And we can choose to do well, or we can choose to not do well. but that it all comes down to we're in control of ourselves, and we're in control of how much we learn, what we put in, what we get back, all of that stuff. That all comes down to being reliant on our abilities and being able to understand that we can improve those abilities. So, and the last thing is super important to me, and I'm really, really stress this. They're willing to grow and learn. At some point, so I'm super early on, so I'm saying this just from my own personal experience of operating from a lack mindset and trying to tell myself that I wasn't good at math or I'm not good at science. Then I started teaching my children, and it shocked me how we kind of, that like rolls over onto them and their confidence level. I want them to understand, and as you should want your children to understand, that every single moment in our life we are open to learning something. And it doesn't matter if it's small or big, academic, or just life in general. Every single thing is something that we can learn from. So those are what we value and what we stem everything off of. If you're not open and willing to learn, then you're not going to take in that information the way that your brain is going to hold that information. And if you're not being a good person, or you're not trying to be a good person, then something needs to change. And if you are relying so heavily on other people to tell you what to do, or to do it for you, then you're not really learning either. So this is all how I envision the beginning process of knowing if you really want to be a homeschooler. And then the process of well, okay, I want to, but how? So definitely, I'm just gonna sum it up here. You start with why you want to be a homeschooler. Then how? What's the style of homeschooling? And be open-minded to those different styles. And then really settle down into what you're going to be teaching them. And the best advice that I can give you, as far into my journey as I am, is do not try to mimic school. They are not in the same environment. They are at home. There are snacks in the fridge. They've got toys in the room. There's a TV. It's a different environment, and you need to be ready to adjust to the different environment that learning is at home. And my second piece of advice is, do not compare yourself to other homeschoolers. You may go out there. I encourage you to go out there and get inspiration from other homeschoolers. I encourage you to, follow other homeschoolers on social media. It can be really helpful, but at the same time, you need to be able to know when you're comparing yourself. Well, how come my kids aren't writing as well? How come they're doing X amount of hours and we're only doing this? How can I get my kid to sit down and they can get their kid to read a full book in an hour? Type thing. Stop. Okay? The comparing will not help you. It will bring you down. It will make you more stressed, and it will translate to your children, and they'll be more stressed, and you're going to get a lot more pushback. Let them be who they are. Learn at their pace. And whatever level they're at is the level that they're at. Okay, it's the beauty of homeschooling. It's knowing that you can observe your child and how they are learning or how they need to learn, and adjusting what you're doing to meet their needs. You're no longer operating on standards of every child should be doing this. And you don't need to be. Listen to yourself, listen to your children, and follow what is right for you and your family. So I hope that this video was helpful. I am probably going to come back and do a video kind of explaining the different types of homeschooling and what kind of homeschooling we do. So stay tuned for that. Thank you.